Alright guys, Papa Pepper here today. Man, it's surreal these days. It's very interesting to contemplate, to be a part of, to kind of live it all up. See, we moved from Wisconsin down to the Ozarks back in 2015. It was November of 2015. And when we did, we kind of only had a grand scheme of things, a couple ideas that we were really concentrating on. A couple viewpoints, just kind of how things should be. Stuff like just avoiding debt at all costs, because it costs a lot more if you don't avoid debt. Owning land, owning a house that we could actually afford out of pocket, and things like that. Starting to provide, more of our own food, garden here. And that was some of the focus. And it wasn't until this year that we actually moved onto our land. So for a while I've kind of done some work here and there on this property, but now that we're actually living on it, it's kind of setting in a whole different way than it previously had. And what I think is some of that is just, now I can actually compare it. Now when I sit in my living room, I can think of my former living room back up in Wisconsin, 3 years ago. Over 3 years ago now, and how that was. And yesterday, for instance, working on a number of projects. Of course, some of the trees we're going to phase out here, but we'll turn them into lumber, we'll turn them into firewood, we'll turn them into a number of things. There's some trees here that have been taken out. And yesterday I was chainsawing. Okay, it was Christmas Day yesterday, December 25th, 2018. I had a t-shirt on. I've got a hoodie today, but I had a t-shirt on, and I'm running a chainsaw. And I don't even think I really ever ran a chainsaw till 3 years ago. Much less had trees on my own property that really made sense to cut up a whole bunch. I think we had one tree we took down once on our property in Wisconsin, and that was one of the 4 trees on the property, right? It's interesting, but it's hitting me now. Just the change of the things, seeing how it's kind of been that dream and that goal, okay, because it was a simple goal. It was just, hey, let's do what we need to do to live together as a family. Let's do what needs to be done so that we can take our 24-hour period, and rather than having the family just completely split up and all over the place, we can live a good, wholesome life together. And we've been doing that now for some time, and now we're on our own land doing it, and it's hit me just in a different way. And especially comparing, I'm not sure what the weather was like in Wisconsin yesterday. I didn't look it up or anything, but normally it's snowy, it's cold, it's frigid, shoveling snow off the sidewalk so the city doesn't fine you, right? And instead I got a t-shirt on, so it's been interesting. Part of it too is, even when we talk about gardening, I don't really have to give up too many plants that would grow up in Wisconsin but won't grow down in the Ozarks. So I can grow a lot of the same stuff, plus I have a whole bunch of other things that can also grow as well, which do really well. So it's been interesting. And even I did my 1-year dread update just a little bit ago, but when I did that, I kind of had looked at a video from my birthday of last year, and when I did that and I saw some of the things on the front of the property, and we've got a long way to go here, guys. You can see a couple buildings behind me somewhere. Oh yeah, those are a couple buildings behind me there. There's an unfinished one way up over there, the unfinished mini barn. There's a lot of works in progress. This thing here behind me, that's only half done, not even. That's going to be a big, monster kiwi trellis. The pastures have to be built up. We got to finish our rock wall, our pillars, which look pretty good. But there's a lot of work to be done, and then you kind of look around and you're like, man, this is taking a lot of work to get here, because this here a year ago or 2 years ago was just like solid thick woods. It was some crazy stuff. There was a small patch coming through it with just smaller trees, probably 15 feet at the most or so. But like this, man, I got so cut up yesterday. This whole thing is just a tangled web of greenbrier, and ow, I'm getting stabbed in the leg by it right now. I mean, if you look at this stuff, this is savage. I've been cut across the face, with this chasing a possum late at night one night. And there's just so much of it. This whole thing was. and it was just crazy. But you know, I'm phasing this out. I'm gonna keep some of my big trees, thin out the rest, maybe plant some pawpaws for an understory tree here, start getting in some different plants. And the cool thing too is this whole area is so thick with greenbrier. I mean, it's coming out everywhere. But if I mow it all down this year, chop it all off, in the spring, those will pop through. Ow, my legs. Those will pop through right away in the spring. And the cool thing about that is they're edible. They're a very good high protein, you know, just wild edible. So you can eat them raw. We're gonna try some pickled. You can cook them. You can make stir fries with them. A lot of different things. So I'm gonna have such a harvest, I think, of greenbrier probably for years to come, just from here. But I'm not gonna let it run, you know, all the way up into the trees like it does now. I'll just kind of, it gets a foot tall, I'll cut it off and eat it, and do that a couple times repeatedly. So, man, still just cutting me up, following me around. So the point of the story is we've got our work cut out for us, but when I compare this to how it was, it is so different now, and we've come so far. And I'm really looking forward to, you know, seeing our outdoor kitchen over here, seeing a greenhouse over there, getting the guinea building up, our little, I don't know what you call it, like a brooder house over here, some different things, some storage by the garden. I kind of want to build like an old town, like when you got the big long line of, like, you know, the mercantile and the jail and the, you know, whatever, up on the backside of the garden there, up on top of the hill, kind of overlooking the whole thing, and maybe even set it up where when people come visit, it'll be an option for them to kind of stay there or something too. So I don't know, just appreciating life, appreciating how far we come, and now that I'm actually seeing on our own land, really kind of comparing the difference of, you know, living here compared to how we lived before, and just kind of the ins and out of our daily life too. It's been interesting, but I wouldn't change it for a moment. I wouldn't give it up. I'm very happy with not only where we are, but with where I think we're going to be as we continue down this path. So it's been a blessing, and as always, I'm happy to be able to have you guys share it with too. So Papa out.
As always, I'm Papa Pepper, and I'd like to remind you, don't post for free. If you'd like to be part of a revolution in social media, an economic power to the people where users can actually blog for cryptocurrency, then I'd recommend that you check out steemit.com and join the revolution. Papa out.